Welcome to the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History. I hope you're sitting down. I hope you have your latte. I hope you have your door lock. I hope you are ready, okay? Today I'm going to tell you a little about my friend Chuck Davis. And I'm going to open one of his paintings. Okay, now you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with pet history? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's going to have to do. So when we get, some of you probably don't know, one of my majors in college was art history, which I absolutely loved. And I've known Chuck for years and years and years. He is quite possibly the funniest person I have ever met in my life. The guy can get me laughing so hard, which is not hard to do, but he gets me laughing to where I almost have to tell him to stop. You know, I'm gonna die. But he has a really interesting story, and I'm gonna video him because I want you to hear his story. And he does these paintings, and if you follow art, you know, you've got folk art, but what happened about 20 years ago is you had art called outsider art. And outsider art was by people that were not trained artists, and they had an interesting story, and they had very innocent type of artwork. So it didn't really fall under folk art, even though it was kind of folk artish. It fell under this new category called outsider art. And for those of you that know a little bit about art, you know, a lot of people invest in art because it's safe. Art usually goes up if it's somebody famous. But when it comes to my buddy here, Chuck, it says, "Sorry for the delay, had to catch up on my health, finances, and club business. Hope all is well." So I had him do a couple paintings. Well, here's one of a bass, and it's got some looks like some kind of freshwater fish in there, maybe some mollies or whatnot. He cranks these out like nobody's business, and he sells them at the fish shows in Florida, where he's from. But he's been painting for 40 or 50 years, and this is the one I really wanted him to do. Central Pet Shop, tropical fish, reptiles, aquarium, dog, cat. He told me on the phone, he says, "Is it okay if I put like a topless bar next to it?" I said, "Yeah, I don't know. Do whatever you want, Chuck." But he didn't. He actually made it just a pet shop. So I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think his stuff is going to be very collectible. I really do. So Chuck, I thank you for those. This is a heavy one, so we'll see what this is. Chuck Davis. I know a lot of Chucks, so sometimes I pause. Like Chuck Rambo is one of my very good friends who has been a fish hobbyist as long as I have. We both grew up in Southern California, and he lives in San Jose now, but he's very, very affiliated with a lot of clubs. So this one I overpaid for, but I just really wanted it. How many of you remember, as seen on TV, the Flowbee, where you can basically get a Flowbee and you can cut your own hair? This is the Flowbee for dogs. So you can get a Flowbee and you can cut your dog's own hair. And it says, as seen on TV, it's called the Pet Groomer, the home hair cutting system for pets by Flowbee. So this is actually really funny. Should have been in my funny video, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's pretty cool, actually. So we have paintings from my good friend, and we have a Flowbee. So we have time for one more. And this one is actually from an auction service, so it might be a pretty cool one. But we're going to show you this one really quick. Okay, I know what this is. This isn't super cool, but it's kind of interesting nevertheless. What this is a quantity of Longlife Aquarium Windmills. So sometimes they find this new old stock. In other words, it was sitting in a barn or warehouse somewhere, and they put it up at a little cowboy auction, and you get a chance to buy a couple boxes of it. And these are cool because they're good trading material to trade with other collectors that have a lot of things that they want to trade or whatnot. Or it's just good to just have them because they're interesting. Now, Longlife was originally a very famous fish hobbyist who started the company. It got sold to Sternco Industries, which was Hart's Mountain. It says it right here, Sternco Industries. Ontario, Canada, printed in Hong Kong. This is probably made in Hong Kong. So made in China, shipped out of Hong Kong. But that is the little windmill by Longlife. Now, these were mostly sold in department stores, Woolworths, Whitefront, all those giant department stores back in the 60s, because that was really their genre, was to sell in those big department stores. So a lot of fish stores didn't carry these. So that's another interesting thing about Longlife products like this. All right, so I think from now, really, we're done for this week. But again, thank you guys for coming, and I will see you next week.